Hello, everyone. My name is John Bussard. I'm an HPE Business Transformation Center engineer for Ingram Micro. I help support HPE's servers, blade systems, storage, as well as networking technology solutions. In my videos, what I like to do is show you a slide from a popular PowerPoint and demonstrate to you what that means within a management interface. Today, once again, we're going to do something a little bit different. And what we're going to do is an unboxing of an HPE Proliant DL385 Gen 10 Plus server. Certainly, the Gen 10 Plus server is the next generation of Gen 10 hardware. Also, this DL385 is the cousin to a DL380 Intel-based system. You guessed it, that's right. This system is based off AMD's EPYC processors, and it's nice to see AMD back into the marketplace. I like both AMD as well as Intel, and I think having two competing vendors out there makes both technology solutions better, such as the advantages that this DL385 Gen 10 Plus server brings to the marketplace, such as the things that are listed across the bottom of this slide. So such as core count, the PCIe efficiencies as far as lanes as well as generation, and of course the memory efficiencies that you'd find within this environment. Obviously all at an attractive price point because it's based off AMD EPYC-based system. So a lot of people are looking at this solution and deploying it, and then again, like I said, it's nice to see them back in the marketplace. So let's go and take a look at what's inside the box of this system. All right, here's our DL385 Gen 10 Plus server. Obviously, I've opened the box like I normally do, and I've looked inside. But I've put everything back in, so this should be your experience as you unbox one of these servers. Now, right on top, of course, we have the rails. All right, standard set of rails. These clip on the side, and then you just slide it into this rack piece. Some cage nuts on the bottom. Over here, we have our power cord and some rudimentary documentation, just some safety information, nothing special. A little bit of foam here. Of foam over here. Protection piece of cardboard. All right, let me get this guy out and put it on the table real quick, okay? Okay, here's the front of our AMD EPYC-based server. Looking at the front, this looks very similar to a DL380 Gen 10 server, 2U form factor. The only way I can tell from the front is right over here it says DL385 Gen 10 Plus. The options, though, I see a lot of the options are very similar between the systems. For example, I could put a drive cage in this bay, as well as this bay. So this bay is 3, 2, 1. And I can tell that by the markings over here. So I have a small form factor cage over here. There are large form factor versions of the system. Something I think it's important to note is that this 8-bay cage, right, it's missing 2 of the fillers. All right, so these fillers. So if you're going to be booting from USB or something internal, you'd want to obtain those fillers. But if you're an HPE shop, you probably got a lot of those kicking around. So some other things. You can put, again, drives in the space, get up to 24 drives. I don't have an optical drive in the system. I do in most of my installs through the ILO interface and virtual media, or you could do it through USB as well. If you need an optical drive, you can put one over here. You can actually put an optical drive and a couple extra small form factor drives down below if you felt like it. Over here we have the power button, some status LEDs. Over here would be the front access ILO, so you can put in a USB drive in there and offload the ILO log to that. And on the bottom we have a USB 3.1 port. Finally we have this here, which would be our serial number and our default password and username for ILO. Alright, so again, this is the front of our DL385 Gen 10 Plus server. Let's spin this guy around and look at the back. Okay, here's the back of our AMD EPYC-based system. So when I pulled this system out of the box, there was this foam on the back of the system protecting the back. Here's the back of our system. I currently have one power supply installed. Obviously, everything with purple is hot pluggable. So this is the 500 watt power supply. You could look at that. Obviously, I have a second power supply in here. Here's the filler panel. Over here, we have our ILO connection. A couple more USB 3.1 ports. This is my OCP 3.0 card that I have installed. So this is the new form factor that's inside this system. I'll pull that out and show you when I get in the inside. So this is dual port 10 gig Ethernet connections in this system. Over here is my VGA port. I have a riser in this bay, but I can add a secondary riser. I have a secondary processor installed, as well as this piece of metal can be removed and we can have a tertiary riser in here as well. There are also options to put hard drives back here as well, if you wanted to. Right, so that's a quick tour of the back. Let's get into the meat and potatoes and look at the inside of this system. Okay, here's the top of our AMD EPYC based system. Again, this is a DL385 Gen10 Plus. Like all HP servers, you got a little latch over here that you pull back to get access into the system. And of course, like all HP servers, on the back cover is a nice little maintenance sticker that tells you the layout of common pieces and components in the system, as well as common drive layouts. And it's interesting, they actually show the drives and how they get mounted in the back of the system on this sticker. Like any HP system, blue means cold pluggable, and the port wine or the purple color here, that means hot pluggable. So if this system was up and running, I could take and I could pull out this fan. I was up and running. Give you a good look at the fan. All right, again, blue would mean cold pluggable. So it's interesting to note that I've only got a couple RAM chips in this system, right? But on top of the bezel, I've got the channel guide for where the RAM slots are on this system. Right? This system also only has one processor installed, so I have a secondary processor that I could put into the system. Because of that, I've only got 1, 2, 3, 4 fans installed. We could actually take out the entire fan tray like that, and we can see there's 2 blanks that are sitting here. So I would get the extra 2 fans for the system when I purchased the secondary processor. I thought it would be interesting, since I didn't have the secondary processor installed, just to kind of show you how those processors get installed in these systems. All right, so I'm going to loosen this up over here. All right, and then this will spring up like this. Then we'll have a couple blue tabs here that we'll have to push to pull this up. And then there's a piece of plastic that gets removed, so then we can see the actual processor socket. Now, when you get a processor, it'll look similar to this, except you'll have the processor kind of in the center. But it'll have a mounting tray on it that you'll use, and you'll just slide that in to here. And it'll go in, and it'll click a little bit, and then you'll press that down. And it'll go into place, and then again, you screw this down. You hold it down nice and tight. Right, and then obviously your fan will have screws that'll go in here, pull everything down and make it nice and tight on this system. So something else of interest is up here, which is the battery for your RAID controllers. Right, take a look at that real quick. And that connects directly up to the motherboard and feeds power to this system. So there is a RAID controller built on this system. This would be a 408i AROC controller. Right, and we can loosen that up by loosening up these screws here. Right, we've got a couple cables. Disconnect those. These cables just route to the front back plane. Pull that out. You can see its connector is right here. Again, this is the P408i AROC. We can get a good view of that. It's got 2 gigs of RAM on it. label pressed there, put it back in. Now over here is the new OCP 3.0 port. This is going to replace the FlexLOM slots that we're seeing on current Gen 10 systems. This is more of an industry standard, and you pull this guy out, there's a little blue tab here, and then after that's done you can just push out, this guy will come in. Since this guy is so new, this connector is so new, this is actually the 10 gig Ethernet connection, so it's dual port 10 gig Ethernet, Cat 6. I'll give you a good view of that card to see what it looks like. At the bottom. So this slot should be an industry standard. Put this guy back in. Flip it on down. There are a couple USB 3.0 ports. It's tough to look at. They kind of go in this way. Over here I have a riser installed. So one riser, one CPU. I have to add the extra riser to get the secondary riser installed in this guy. But I can go back here. Blue, it's cold pluggable, so I can pull this out while the server's off, excuse me. And then there is this riser. So I got 3 8X slots here. There are many different options for risers inside this system, 16X slots and such. Over here are my battery connectors, so if I put a RAID controller in one of these slots, I can hook up the battery, and that would connect me up to this battery here. Good. Here's the connector for the secondary riser that would go here. And the tertiary riser would lean this way, and there would be a replacement for this metal cage in the back here, this metal plate in the back here. That pulls itself down and inside. We get the memory spool back on, the air bezel. And we'll put the cover on and lock it in place. I hope you enjoyed this video, and please stay tuned for more videos.